Good morning, everyone, for this today's online session. And myself, Sarita Konde from Kulaba Municipal Upper Primary English School. Once again, I'm here for teaching Civics subject of 7th standard. So, without wasting our time, let's start our period. Today's standard 7, online education. Subject is Civics, and the topic number 6, Directive Principles of State Policy and Fundamental Duties, Part 3. See students, we have started the lesson number 6, Directive Principles of State Policy and Fundamental Duty. Okay. Today, first of all, we'll see what the students are saying here. Okay. Here are some dialogues by the students, and you have to say which duties are reflected in the dialogues above, and is there any relationship between the rights and duties that we will see. See what the boy is saying. The river in our village does not look like a river at all. What an amount of plastic waste. Even if anybody tells me, I will never throw any waste in the river. That means he has a clear vision that he will protect or preserve or to keep the environment clean. See the next girl, that is all right, but what do about those deafening sounds? Deafening sounds. Okay, that means there is lot of noise pollution, and so she's telling the sound is like deafening sound. Next, people just don't seem to realize these things while celebrating festivals. Okay, so we celebrate different types of festivals, but while celebrating these festivals, we should care about our environment, the people who are living in our locality, and we should keep the place clean and also use the public property carefully. Next thing, we should also be insistent our responsibilities as citizens. Okay, not only enjoy our rights, but also fulfill our duties, fundamental duties and responsibilities. Next, it is our duty to protect the resources and public property of our country. Okay, public property is for all, not it is not belong for only one person, but it is for all. So we should use this public property and the resources available. We should use these resources and public property carefully. Next thing, now students, read this dialogue and tell me which fundamental duties is reflected in this dialogue. See, first of all, let us start step by step. Let us make a few resolution. Okay. First one, let us tell girls and boys to go to school. Okay.
Right to education.
Okay, very good. Right of education. Right to education. It is a fundamental right of children between the age group of 16 to 6 to 14. Okay. Let us tell girls and boys to go to school. It is fundamental duty of children. So this fundamental duty means education of the children between the age of 6 and 14 years. Very good. Number two, let us use the different facilities in school responsibly. Which fundamental duty is reflected here? Use the different facilities in school responsibly. Can you tell me the answer? Which fundamental duty is reflected here? The facilities in school. For example, water supply there, water facilities there, furniture of school, then playground, the building of schools. Whatever is school, we should use it carefully. So, in this section, which fundamental duties get reflected? Anybody know the answer? Hello?
To protect and improve the natural environment.
Very good, correct. To protect and
Hello, Veer.
not that. Yes, to safeguard the public property. Okay. हाँ yes,
Veer
बेटा.
हाँ मिस मैं कह रहे थे कि इसका ये कौन कौन सी किताब का पीरियड है?
Safeguard the public property and to abjure violence, because public property means the school property. The school property is for all the students. Okay, so all the students have to use it carefully. Huh? Next, number 3, let us be proud of our country. We should proud of our country. What is that? Which fundamental duty is reflected in this dialogue?
To abide by the Constitution.
Very good. Very good. Exactly. To abide by the Constitution and respect the national flag and national anthem. Okay. This fundamental duty is reflected here. Next, let us participate in the festivals of different religions. Say, let us participate in the festivals of different religions. Which fundamental duty is reflected here? In last lecture, we have seen about different fundamental duties of the Indian citizens. So, tell me which fundamental duty is reflected here. Anybody know the answer? You can find in your textbook and can tell. Textbooks are there with you, no? You can find just which fundamental duty is reflected here. See all the fundamental duties and select the appropriate duty for this sentence. What is that? Okay, see. To promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood, transcending diversities. Okay?
Okay.
And this also is suitable to uphold and protect sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. Okay? Next, let us celebrate them by avoiding pollution of the environment.
To protect and improve the natural environment and to have competition of living.
Correct. Very good. To protect and improve the natural environment and to have compassion for living creature. These fundamental duties reflected in this sentence. Next is, let us use public facilities properly and take good care of the same.
To safeguard public property and adjure.
Exactly. Correct. To safeguard public property and to abjure violence. And last one, let us perform all the tasks that we have undertaken honestly, always trying for excellence.
To strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual.
Yes, to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. Okay, this
Yes,
fundamental
miss.
duty is reflected in the last sentence. So, very good, students. That means you have understood the fundamental duties properly. Yes, no, am I right?
Yes, miss.
Okay. So by this activity, our lesson is get finished here. The lesson number 6, directive principles of state policy and fundamental duty. Okay. Now I want to revise the topic once again. In this lesson, we have studied about directive principles. Okay. So what are directive principles? See, directive principles are the guidelines issued by the constitution maker to the union and state government regarding how to achieve the objective or goals stated in the preamble. Okay, so in achieving the goals or objective, the directive principles are very important, which are stated in the constitutions. Okay, next, the directive principles were included to promote welfare of people and transform India into a developed and progressive nation. Okay, for the welfare of the people, directive principle and fundamental duties. Okay, together are meant to promote the welfare of people. Okay, not only the right or fundamental duties, but also directive principles and fundamental duties. Next, directive principles are not binding on the governments. See again, directive principles are not binding on the governments, but they are expected to implement this principle slowly and steadily while formulating policies. Okay, so directive principles are not binding, but they are expected to implement. Understood, all of you? What are the directive principle and its meaning? It is wow. What are the directive principles? Okay.
Okay.
Next chapter, we have seen some important directive principle of state policy. We will revise all these principles once again. See, first one, the state should secure adequate means of livelihood to all citizens without any gender discrimination. Okay, there should be no gender discrimination, male or female. The state should secure adequate means of livelihood to all citizens. Number two, the state should secure equal pay for equal work for both men and women. See, once again, the state should secure equal pay for equal work for both men and women. There should be no discrimination on the basis of men and women. Number three, the state should secure the improvement of public health. Different public health schemes, the state had to implement different health policies for the public. Next, the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and safeguard the forest and wildlife of the country. Next is, the state shall protect all monuments of historic interest and national importance. Next, the state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interest of the weaker sections of the people, especially the scheduled caste and tribes. I have explained all these. Okay. Next is, the state shall offer public assistance to citizens in cases of unemployment, old age, and sickness, etc. The state shall secure a uniform civil code applicable to the entire country. So, students, all these are the directive principles of state policy, some important directive principles of the state policy. Okay, have you understood it properly? We have discussed on this all the directive principles.
Yes, miss.
Okay. Next is fundamental duty. While enjoying our rights, we should fulfill our duties or responsibilities. Okay. We have seen the directive principles and the fundamental duties are the two sides of the same coin. Correct, no? So first, our fundamental duty is to abide by the Constitution and respect the national flag and national anthem. Okay. Now just say the music sir. They told us to stand. Everybody, they told children to stand at their home, no, while playing the national anthem. So that is the thing we should respect our national anthem. Yes, no. So first duty, what is that? To abide by the Constitution and respect the national flag and national anthem. Next, to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspire our national struggle for freedom, so that because of them only we are enjoying our freedom. Next, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. Next, to defend the country and to render national service when called upon to do so. Next is to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood transcending diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women, to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture, to protect and improve the natural environment, and to have compassion for living creature. Next is to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and spirit of inquiry and reform, to safeguard public property and to abjure violence, to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. And last one it is, every citizen of India who is a parent or guardian should provide opportunities of education to his or her child or ward between the age of 6 and 14 years. It is their fundamental right and the fundamental duty of parents. So, all these fundamental duties and directive principles are very important. Okay? So, fundamental
Yes.
rights. See, fundamental rights together with the directive principle, that means they promote to the welfare of the people. If the benefit of welfare scheme cannot all cannot reach all if we do not perform our duties. So we should follow or we should fulfill our duties and responsibilities also.
Yes.
Fundamental duties were included in the Constitution to make the citizen aware that performance of responsibilities is precondition to enjoy our fundamental rights. Okay.
Okay.
So this was all about directive principles and fundamental rights. Now it is a time of recapitulation. Students, just tell me the answer. Find the answers in your textbook, in the lesson, and tell me the answer. First, fill in the blank. See. Okay, now read this first question. Who will read out this question?
Miss,
First
can I
student.
read?
Yes.
Directive principles of state policy and dash are two sides of the same
Same
coin.
coin. Directive principles of state policy and dash are two sides of the same coin. What is the answer, beta?
Fundamental rights.
Very good. The
Directive
answer is
principle.
correct. Yes.
Directive principle of state policy and fundamental rights are two sides
Two
of the
sides
same
of the
coin.
same coin. We cannot separate these two things, directive principles and fundamental rights. Okay, very good.
Yes.
Fundamental rights.
Hmm. Next is, who will read this?
The benefits of various achievements of the government cannot reach all people if they do not fulfill their
Dash. Okay, this answers you have to find. The benefits of the various schemes of the government cannot reach all people if they do not fulfill.
Fundamental duty.
Very good, correct.
Duties and
fundamental duties.
responsibilities.
Yes, fundamental duties. Okay, if we not fulfill our duties, we cannot enjoy our rights also.
Yes.
Various schemes cannot reach to all the people, so fundamental duties are also important. Everybody should fulfill the fundamental duties and responsibilities. Okay, very good students. Next is, tell why. Give the reason behind the question. Okay, the first is, directive principles were included in the constitution. Okay, why the directive principles are included in constitution? Yes. Take your time to think and find the answer and tell me why the directive principles are included in the constitution.
Because that the state shall strive to protect the welfare of the people by securing a social order in which social, economic, and political justice.
Okay. And okay, let's see. The directive principles were included in the constitution because the goal of welfare of the people had to be achieved. No? Because
Yes.
the constitution has included this principle to show the right way in achieving the goals to the states. Okay, the goal of welfare of the people had to be achieved. Number two, India had to transform into a developed and progressive nation. Okay, India को हमें developed country बनाना है. India had to be transformed into a developed and progressive nation. Okay. See once again, the directive principles were included in the constitution because the goal of welfare of people had to be achieved, and number two, India had to be transformed into a developed and progressive nation. Okay.
Yes.
Number two, the state shall protect all monuments of historical interest. See, it is our duty also, no? Why the state shall protect all monuments of historical interest? Yes. Is there any reason behind it? Now, just I have given a clue to you. The state shall protect all monuments of historical interest. Anybody know the answer of this question? Try to give the answer. It is no matter your answer is correct or wrong.
The state shall protect all monuments of historic interest and national importance.
Okay, but why? Whether this sentence included in fundamental rights or duties?
Yes.
To develop the sacrifice.
Is it our duty or right?
Is it duty?
Duty. Correct. So that is the most important reason. No?
It is our duty.
The state shall protect all monuments of historical interest because it is the duty of the state to preserve our rich and varied national heritage. No?
Yes.
So the state shall protect all monuments of historical interest because it is the duty of the state to preserve our rich and varied national heritage. Next, the constitution makers did not make the directive principles binding. It is not binding to the state or government. Why? The constitution makers did not make the directive principles binding.
Because of the require a lot of resources on this.
You tried well, but more correctly, who will tell me the answer. Okay, see. The constitution makers did not make the directive principle binding because the resources to implement the directive principles were not available. When India won independence, that time there were many challenges, okay, and the resources were insufficient to use at a time to all, okay.
Okay.
So that constitution maker did not make the directive principle binding because the resources to implement the directive principles were not available. Not available means they were,
At the
that
same
means a
time.
shortage of resources. Okay. So directive principles are not binding but expected to implement these step by step or slowly or steadily. Understand?
Yes.
Next, directive principles are like guidelines. Why it is
Directive.
said directive principles are like guidelines? Why? Directive principles guides us. Say why the directive principles are like guidelines?
The nature of giving directives or guidelines about how to achieve the goals expressed
Helps to
in the
making the
Correct.
principle.
The directive principles are like guidelines because these are specific instruments given about how to achieve the goal expressed in the preamble. Okay, in a preamble में जो objective goals state किया है, stated the objectives or goals stated in the preamble, how to achieve these goals and objective, it shows the way or it guide us, or it is a specific instruments which give given about how to achieve these goals.
means
And
that answer is also not that type that helps them in making policies and law for the
yes, yes,
purpose
yes.
of.
Achieving goals, no?
Yes.
Yes, that is also correct. Okay.
And the welfare in the state.
Hmm. Next is which rights are included in the directive principles regarding citizens' right? See, which rights are included in the directive principles regarding citizens' rights?
The state should
The state
secure
should secure adequate means
adequate
of
means of
livelihood
livelihood to all citizens without any
without
gender
any
discrimination.
discrimination.
Wait. At a time, one can only say. See, regarding citizens, okay? Citizens से related कौन से है? See, following are the rights have been included in the directive principles regarding citizens. First is the right to employment and to an equal pay for equal work for men and women. Okay, this is the first right. And the second, that the right to the unemployed the aged and deceased and the destitute to economic assistance. Okay, इस इन केसेस में इकोनॉमिक असिस्टेंस मतलब स्टेट कुछ पॉलिसीज प्रोवाइड करती है. Okay, so these are the two rights regarding citizens in the directive principles. See first again, first the right to employment and equal pay for equal work for men and women. And number two, the right to unemployed, the aged and the deceased and the destitute to economic assistant. उनको क्या मिलता है कि कुछ
Yes.
पॉलिसीज होती है इन लोगों के लिए. हाँ यस बेटा.
What is the meaning of aged?
मीन्स ओल्ड पीपल. ओल्ड पीपल के लिए होते हैं ना कुछ पेंशन्स के स्कीम्स होते हैं. ठीक है, ये
Yes.
गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से ये प्रोवाइड की हुई स्कीम होती है. So it is your homework for today. Some important directive principles of state policy. Sir, एक सेकेंड है. Write down the directive principle of state policy and fundamental duties. Okay, and one more. You can take the screenshot of this all question and answers and learn this question answers after that. Okay, try to find out these answers in textbook also. Okay, can I show it again, display it again? Hello.
Yes, miss.
Take down these, fill in the blanks. Is it over?
Yes. Over. Over.
Over, miss.
Over.
Yes.
Over.
Okay.
Miss, wait.
हाँ yes बेटा बोलो. Hello.
Miss,
हाँ.
I have question in the textbook. Question number 5. Write about the following.
हाँ. That the directive principles of the constitution enumerated in the textbook. All the directive principles which are given in the textbook, no, that only you have to write. Okay.
Miss, third
So that we
question.
have yes, that we have discussed no in the last lecture.
Third question. Why it is said that the directive principles and fundamental rights are two sides of the same coin?
Okay. Wait. Why the directive principles and the fundamental rights are? What is the question?
Miss, textbook there is answer.
Direct, are
Due
two
to
sides of the same coins, na?
Yes.
So we have this.
fundamental rights,
Due to fundamental rights, citizens get the most needed liberty, while directive principles of state policy create an atmosphere
conductive,
con-
Conducive. What are you telling that answer? You are asking the answer or question. What is it?
Answer. Is this is answer?
Means the third question. Question number 5. Question number 3, na? The main
Yes.
question, right, about the following. Why is it said that the directive principle and fundamental rights are two sides of the same coin? No,
Yes.
that only, na?
Yes.
So what is the answer? You know it?
I think that the answer is due to fundamental rights, citizens get the most needed liberty, while directive principles of state policy create an atmospheric conducive to the growth of democracy.
See, fundamental rights provide citizen what? The freedom, liberty, correct? And directive principles gives what? It is considered people's welfare. No? And the objective of the developed and progressive democracy can be achieved through these two goals, that is fundamental rights and directive principles. Yes, your answer is correct. Okay, so you can write that answer of the question, that why the fundamental duties and directive principles are two sides of the same coin. Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Next, any other have the doubts about this topic? Is
Miss,
there any doubt about this
No.
topic? Hi, yes, beta. Someone
No.
टेल वाई फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन का आंसर अपेल तुमने दिखाया था वो दिखाओ.
first, which question, beta? Which question, beta?
The state shall protect all monuments of historic interest. Question number 3 first.
Okay, wait, just a minute. We have discussed your answer, but it is expected that you should also find the answers in the textbook.
Yes, yes.
Okay. This no?
Yes.
It's very simple because it is our duty. No, the
Yes.
state should protect all monuments because it is a duty of state to preserve our national heritage, rich and varied national heritage.
हो गया.
Okay. So students, in this lesson, we have learned about our directive principles of state policy and our, at the same time, the fundamental duties that we have to fulfill. Okay, and thank you very much. So in our day-to-day life, we also try to follow our duties. Then only you can enjoy your rights.